youngins gonna be here tonight?
Huh?
Are the youngins gonna be here tonight?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, they have to get sworn in.
I wonder if they're with Andrea right now.
That would be my
I
guess.
don't have a preference.
There's Bonnie.
Bonnie logged in?
No,
Bonnie?
not yet.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
for those in attendance, this is our reorganizational meeting. It happens annually, first board meeting of the new school year. So this meeting starts a little atypical in that our district clerk has the privilege of opening the meeting. And so, of course, there was a technological glitch. So bear with us for just a moment. We're almost there. Almost. I like to build the anticipation.
So the time is 7:07, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the reading of the land acknowledgement of Eric Kapelski.
Akron Central School District acknowledges that we gather on the traditional lands of the Tonawanda Seneca Nation. We honor the contributions of the indigenous peoples past, present, and future with gratitude for the land as we continue to work together with a spirit of respect and understanding.
Thank you. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand and join in the pledge of flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the Akron Central School District, a learning-centered community dedicated to the dreams of our students, is to ensure that each student realizes his or her unique human potential and contributes positively to society through a system characterized by valuing the unique gifts and dreams of each person, developing all dimensions of each human being, advancing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom of each student, nurturing and respecting the dignity of each human being, cooperatively working to continuously create new realities. We're going to continue on with agenda item number 2, administering of oath of office. So at this time, I would like our newly elected and elected officers and student members over here, please, to administer your oaths. I think
Good.
okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you're good.
I'm good?
You're good.
No, you should be good.
He should-
Go up there?
I think so.
because it's a new term.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I was told.
Okay, we'll go with what you were told.
I'm gonna get out of the way.
So if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I'm going to do the board members first and then we'll do the students. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Board of Education member according to the best of my ability.
of the office of Board of Education member to the best of my ability. Thank you.
You're welcome. Students, so raise your hands. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of student board member
of the office of student board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You guys can take just sign those and give it to me. All right, so moving on to agenda number president of the board.
I nominate Eric Polkowski.
Second it?
Eric, do you accept?
I do.
You do. Are there any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
So a motion that the school board elects Eric Prokowski as the president of the 25-26 school year?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Mr. President, would you like to join me over there for your oath?
Very well. Agenda item number 4.
You gotta do your oath first.
Oh, I got to do my oath. Okay.
You're not official.
Sorry.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education President according to the best of my ability. So now at this time, I will turn the meeting over to President Polkowski.
Okay. Agenda item number 4, which is the election of the vice president. I would open the floor up for nominations for vice president.
I'd like to nominate Heather Kaye for vice president.
I have a nomination. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Stephanie. Ms. Kafka?
Do you take a?
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then you just need a manual vote.
Yes.
All those, okay. So are there any other nominations? If not, I call the motion closed. All those in favor of electing Heather vice principal or vice president, vice principal. Well, we have a position for that too. Vice president of the board signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None? None abstained? Motion is carried.
Ms. Kay?
District clerk?
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education Vice President according to the best of my ability.
And that's the reason you don't chuckle at yourself saying, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that." And then karma comes around and says, "Oh, look." Very well. First off, I'll just make just a quick statement from the standpoint that I appreciate the nomination and the opportunity to serve the Akron Central School District. I also appreciate the support in taking on the role and having the opportunity and the honor to do so. So I appreciate that. Thank you. With that, we move on to agenda item number 5, which is the appointment of officers. You can see there we've got a long list. The majority of these items are things that we have throughout the course of the year, everything from attorneys to official banks to official documents. With that, 5C, the recommended action is the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the board appointments, consent item 5A through 5B.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sina. That motion passes. Agenda number 6 is designations. The first part of that, 6B, we do have a number of committees which are represented by liaisons from the board. Typically, we appoint 2 people. One is a primary, one is an alternate. Both are permitted and encouraged to attend the functions together. That way, there's a continuity if one can't attend. And there's always somebody to report back or to offer input to those particular areas. Voting delegation for convention. Who do we have currently in those? Do you?
For last time, I believe it was you and myself. Is that's what you're asking?
That's an email.
Just looking back here myself. Okay, previously it was myself and an alternate as Heather. Do you wish to serve in the same capacity?
Yes.
Okay. And me as well. So I'll be primary and Heather, Ms. Kay can be alternate. For the ECASB Delegate Assembly, Ms. Kafka was primary and Joe was alternate. Do you wish to maintain those positions?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. For ECASB Legislative Committee, it is open as a primary and I'm an alternate.
I'll take one.
Are you,
I can be alternate.
okay. That, I will say that, so we'll have Phil as the primary and Stephanie as the alternate. Just a side note with that, I am still a legislative co-chair, so I'll be in attendance, and we have always had good representation and participation with that particular function. So ECASB Budget and Finance Team, Mr. Kenline has been the primary and the alternate is open.
I'll take primary.
Okay. Is anybody interested in being an alternate to Budget and Finance?
It's real easy.
I can be the alternate.
Heather?
Here,
Okay.
I could do it too. I'll do it. You're on
Okay.
another one? Yeah, I'll take the alternate.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you, Ms. Shigello. So those are the 4 for that portion of the designations. Secondary portion, 6C, is the Public Relations Committees. We have 5 different committees, very similar to the ECASB register. First is the Indigenous Committee. Ms. Kafka was the primary. The alternate is open.
I would take that too.
Okay.
Muriel, doesn't matter.
You
I
guys
would
want
love
to duke
it.
it out? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Ms. Shigello is the secondary, is the alternate. Strategic planning, both the primary and the alternate are open.
So for this particular committee, it's not going to be as great of a commitment as it was this year as we were building the plan for the next 3 years. The role for this upcoming school year will be assisting in monitoring and adjusting the plan, as well as an invitation to attend any other committees that align with the specific goals within the plan. So for example, we'll have a committee that is focused on school community partnerships. We'll have a committee that's focused on equity, inclusion, and belonging. So those, but the strategic planning committee is the umbrella, but the role has changed a little bit for this upcoming year.
I'll take the alternate.
You'll take
Alternate?
alternate.
I can take primary.
Next one is youth recreation. We had Ms. Kay as the primary and Mr. Sina as an alternate.
So we are going to flip-flop this year. So
Okay.
I'm going to be the primary, and Mrs. K is going to be the alternate.
Unless
Okay.
someone else would like the alternate. Would you like that comment? No? Okay.
Okay. And I do know that, just as a point of context, I know that the youth recreation is going to be kind of following a little bit of a different format from the town. So I would anticipate that there'd be a little bit more participation and legwork possibly on our side. Capital and project liaison. The primary is open. I am listed as an alternate. I can move to a primary.
These meetings
Oh,
typically.
capital improvement.
Capital improvement project. These meetings typically fall on Fridays during the day around 9 o'clock in the morning, but there is the option to attend remotely if anyone is interested.
We can do alternate on that.
And then policy advice, you got that? Me,
You want?
yeah. I'll move, that's what I'm, move up from that, yes. And you got Joe,
Yep.
the flip-flop?
Joe, the flip-flop.
Okay, all right. Policy Advisory Committee, Ms. Kay is the primary and the alternate is open.
Are those still occurring during the day?
They are Monday at 2:45. One Monday a month at 2:45. And again, it can be in person or remote.
I could probably do alternate for that.
Okay.
And then also to our students, if there are any of these committees that speak to you that you would like to be a part of, you could let us know now, or you can see me after the meeting to let me know, and I'll make sure that you get an invitation to those meetings.
And likewise, while we're setting this up, if there is something that comes up over the course of time where you find either maybe your availability or the meeting isn't there, we can always make adjustments throughout the course of the year. It's not something that is set up that way.
And as I look your way, I know many of you are already involved in those meetings, so it'll be a
Yeah.
continuation.
So, all right, with that, those are all the designations for our cooperation there and representation. So the recommended action would be is that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the designation items, consent items 6A and 6C through 6C.
Moved.
Moved Ms. K.A., seconded Mr. Kenline. Any questions or board discussion? And just for a comment from the standpoint of those in attendance, whether online or in person, and for our student representatives, we do handle all of our agendas and our meetings through Board Docs, which is an online service. You can go onto the school website. You can pull up past meeting agendas and minutes. Likewise, future agendas are on there as well. If there's any sort of content that'll be discussed, whether it be policies to actions, certain appointments, that sort of thing, that information can be found on there as well. And then the reason for the pause in between is that we also do a live active vote, so it actively records. So everything is noted in the minutes accordingly based off of that. Next item on the agenda is item 7, which is authorizations. And the recommended action here is that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve authorization items, consent items 7A through 7J.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Sina.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett. Any questions or board discussion?
Just question,
Sure.
items K and L, should those be included in the vote? Okay.
Oh, okay. So the action is items 7A through 7K.
Moved, if nobody else has. Or we already did all that,
Yeah, we
right?
did that.
We're just voting now. I got
So,
it.
yes. So the item says
Catch up.
7J, and it should be 7K. And that motion passes. Item 8, District Committees on Special Education. The recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve special education items, consent item 8A through 8C.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gigello. Any questions or board discussion? The agenda item passes. Agenda item number 9, impartial hearing officers. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the hearing officers items consent item 9A and 9B.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Kenline.
Second.
Seconded, Mr. Sina. Any questions or board discussion? The agenda item passes. Agenda item number 10, other items. The recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education approves action items consent item 10A through 10N.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett. Any questions or board discussions? And the motion passes. Just as a reminder, again, with this being a reorganizational meeting, the majority of those issues that we have just kind of moved through here, a lot of them are just, again, our school year goes from July 1st through June 30th. So this is just a reappointment addressing that, everything from legal counsel to supervisory positions to health and services. All those sorts of things need to be reappointed on an annual basis. So if there is something specific that comes up through the course of the year, we've had it where legal representation has left one law firm for another. The board has to go through and make a formal motion and acceptance saying that we are doing this legally and moving all this through so everybody has an idea of what's going on. So the majority of what you just saw and participated in is a lot of us just kind of saying these are the people that we're utilizing or the services that we're utilizing and just reaffirming those for our upcoming school year. So thank you. Item 11 is hearing of individuals and delegations. This would be the point of the meeting where the public would be allowed to issue comments. We do not have any comments cards. So we can move on to agenda item 12, which is the superintendent's report.
Yep, thank you. I will keep my comments on the briefer side this evening, but I just wanted to say how wonderful it is to see our table grow and to have our 3 new student board members also in attendance, as well as welcome to Chandra, and we're excited to have you on the board. Also wanted to thank the parents that are here today supporting our young leaders. It's something to truly be incredibly proud of, the willingness to step up and serve your community as you are. So thank you and welcome to the board. Secondly, I wanted to share that last night we had a town hall meeting related to the internet-enabled device policy that you will see on the agenda is up for its second reading this evening. I wanted to thank the board members, administrators, parents who attended the meeting. Although we did not have a very large crowd, I felt that there was great meaningful conversation. We did not receive any additional comments on our website or feedback on our website related to the policy, and the parents that were in attendance were supportive of the decisions that were made within the parameters that were given to the district around the creation of this policy. So thank you to all of those who participated in that meeting last night. I wanted to give the community a brief update on the hiring of a very important position, and that's the elementary assistant principal position. The posting for that position will close on Friday. We're excited to share that we do have a strong pool of applicants for that position, and screening interviews will begin as early as next week with an anticipated board appointment at our August meeting. Another item I wanted to draw the community's attention to is a change order on the agenda for this evening. This was a late addition to the agenda. We had received the final paperwork today, and we wanted to move forward to avoid any delays in the project. The change order is for an ice melt or a snow melt system around the apron of the bus garage. This was something that was originally designed into the project that did go out to bid. We, at the time, chose not to accept that bid due to budget concerns, but we were very fortunate that our construction costs for phase one have come in under budget, so we were able to realize some savings. And with the recommendation of our OACM committee, our Capital Improvement Project Committee, we would like to move forward with that change order. It is for $134,000. Are there any questions associated with that change order?
Just to visualize what it is currently at our bus garage. We have the existing bus garage, and then the addition is being built off to the side, including the bus wash bay. What this would do is the bus wash bay currently is designed to have radiant heating tubing going through the slab. So number one, it will heat the space and also keeps everything so it's not icy and works well. What this apron is in front and in back of where that bus wash is, along with our already existing bus maintenance bays, would be roughly a 10 foot or 15 foot. Anyway, 10-foot extension. It would be a slab that would be poured on grade. It would be exterior to the building, but this way what would happen is it runs through the same system. So in the winter, when that is activated, it would de-ice that whole area. So number one, for safety concerns, for people coming in and exiting, drivers, mechanics, all that. That's beneficial. The secondary portion of it that's beneficial is you remove all of those sorts of things. You won't have to plow as close to the building. Another aspect would be is that, it wouldn't be icy in regards to moving vehicles in and moving vehicles out. And then on top of it too, it gives it a nice stable base that it's a concrete base. So you're constantly wear and tear on your asphalt surface. Moving your buses in and out would help be mitigated as well. So overall, as Ms. Kirsten said, from the construction side of it, we had that planned. It was a last minute add deduct. It was removed for cost, and now that we've seen the savings, that's why it's being added back in.
So that was a nice option to be able to add. And then lastly, as a matter of practice, I'd like to begin the process of including a copy of the district organizational chart as part of the reorg meetings at the first of the year, to start a new practice just for a matter of public record. And then also, it has been a goal for all of us, including the board, to always seek ways to improve communication with the community and with our families. And I just wanted to draw attention to a new document that we are putting on our website, and it gives information on who should I call. So if you have a question related to your child's lunch account, it will point you in the right direction of who you should contact first. If you aren't able to get resolution at step one, who you should call second and third, so on and so forth. But just an opportunity for you to be able to direct your phone calls or questions directly to the individuals that are most closely involved in the process. So this will be on our website aligned with our contact information for each of those areas. And that is all I have for this evening.
Okay. Very well. Are there any questions or comments to the superintendent? Seeing none, we'll move on to board policy and development. As Ms. Kirsten said, policy 7316, which is the use of internet-enabled devices. This enters our second reading, and the recommended action is that we approve policy 7316, use of internet-enabled devices during the school day after the first and second readings.
Moved.
Motion made by Ms. Kaye.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Kenline. Are there any questions, concerns, board discussion? And the motion passes. I would just make one comment in regards to that, is just from the standpoint that because this is a state mandate that came down, and every board and every school district is coming up with their own policy for this. The two things I want to keep in mind are, number one is the state could make alterations depending on how the rollout of this goes and whether or not they get some input from parents and districts throughout the state, so that could be subject to change, number one. And number two is because this is new for everybody, including us, that this policy is kind of the starting framework. It meets all the guidelines of the mandate. It meets the recommendations and composition of admin, stakeholders, and students in mind. But it's also something that the board will actively try and review throughout the course of the upcoming year. So it's not something, while it's a policy, it's not written in stone from the standpoint that we can go through and make alterations and adjustments, because policy is one thing, but actual implementation and process is another. So we will take a look at it, and if there are things, I'm especially looking from the students' perspective of this, you guys are the ones that this is going to be impacted on the most, and you're going to hear the most of it from your fellow students. So if there are things that you find that are, maybe, difficult, or you hear, issues regarding it, you now have a voice of your fellow students to bring that back to us, and we can make alterations and adjustments to the policy as seen fit. So we are definitely looking at you, since this will impact you the most. So please feel free to bring those concerns and those comments and what your friends and fellow students are making, and we can adjust things accordingly if necessary.
And again, one of the roles of the board is advocacy. So if there's an area of the policy that is aligned with the law, that you have some great ideas on recommendations for change, it's an exciting opportunity to share those. Once again, I just want to thank, it was hundreds of individuals who responded to the survey, participated in the committees, multiple committee meetings to develop the draft of the policy, and I just truly appreciate the collaborative effort. So thank you to all those involved.
Very well. Moving on, agenda item number 14 is for personnel. And the recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, does hereby approve the following personnel items, consent items 14A through 14P.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Kenline.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sina. Any questions or board discussion? And the motion passes. One item to just make a mention of is from the standpoint that included in the personnel was the understanding of a superintendent's agreement. Through previous conversations with the board, Ms. Kirsten was entering the final year of her contract, and through some negotiations and decisions, We have extended her position and her contract, so we have her locked in for a couple more years at least. I want to say I'm 5 total. Yes. So I just wanted to point that out from the standpoint that since she was initially placed in an interim position and has been a full-time superintendent the last 18 months, we've been very happy with the overall direction of the district, the cooperation, her community involvement, her activities with the students. So along those lines, we're glad you'll be here for a while. And to quote Mr. Dimitrov, go Tigers. District items, agenda item number 15. The recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, does hereby approve the following district items, consent items 15A through 15N.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Sina.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jagello. And those agenda items pass. Moving on to agenda item number 16, financial reports. Is there anything?
It's just information.
It's just information. Okay. Those are reports from BOCE's auditor. Agenda item 17 is special education. The recommended action being that the Akron Central School Board of Education approve the classifications and placement as per list received as recommended by the Commissioner on Preschool Special Education and the Committee on Special Education. These recommendations are for the least restrictive environment at this time.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kaye.
Second.
Second, Mr. Kenline. That motion passes. Agenda item 18, school board correspondence. Tuesday, July 15th is a legislative subcommittee at Erie One BOCES, starting at 6:15. Thursday, July 17th is the ECASB Board and Brews at Hamburg Brew Pub, beginning at 6:15. Thursday, July 17th is also our student ex officio training at Erie One BOCES, beginning at 9 a.m. through 12:15 p.m. Friday, August 1st through August 2nd is the NYSBA Leadership in Education in Albany. Tuesday, August 5th is the Akron Board of Education retreat. It'll be here from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Wednesday, August 6th is the Western New York Law Conference being held at Salvatore's from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And Thursday, August 21st is the ECASB Back to School dinner at Creekside Manor.
Eric, before you go on, so you all have the, just let me know as soon as possible, because I just came this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you.
So please see Ms. James with your response if you're interested in attending, and your choice of dinner.
Yes, just the dinner.
And we are excited that our student board members are invited to that event as well. So looking forward to that.
Agenda item 19, upcoming dates. Our next regular business meeting will be here in the MPR on August 6th. Board discussion. First item is in regards to the students, is to the superintendent's and board self-evaluation. You've received the compiled information in regards to both of those items. Are there any questions or comments in regard to any of those evaluations as presented? And again, for the new board members, at the end of the year, we go through and do a self-evaluation and a superintendent's evaluation. what we'll be coming up with is, over the course of the next couple of months, some board goals. With the board goals, we'll try and the superintendent will try to align her goals along the same lines with that and our strategic plan, so that they can be implemented from the top down. And with that, she'll establish the baseline for what next year's will be, so that when we go through to do the evaluation next year for both, those positions will already kind of be put into those two documents and evaluations, to judge how we did based off of our previous goals and settings.
And I would just like to thank the board for the evaluation and for the feedback. I definitely take your words to heart, very much appreciated.
Board retreat update.
So I did share a survey with the board. If we could have all of the responses back for the survey if you could complete that by Monday, it would be appreciated. So in the survey, I shared a list of topics to include in our board retreat. And this would be in addition to how to effectively utilize our student board members. We wanted to work on the process for goal setting during the retreat, but some of the other topics included vision, mission, and core value alignment, effective communication and collaboration, navigating policy and governance challenges, building a culture of continuous improvement, financial stability and resource allocation, addressing achievement gaps, enhancing stakeholder engagement, governance roles and responsibilities, conflict resolution, and team building. And based on the responses right now, the items that are in the lead would be building a culture of continuous improvement and effective communication and collaboration.
If there's any further input, if you happen to think of something else that we would like to touch on, again, this is based around, what we feel is necessary. It's a kind of a professional development day. So if there's, particular topics or things that pique interest, please pass that along, and we can try and incorporate that through our retreat. Which kind of leads into the next item there in regards for board discussion, board goals. I know we'll try and utilize the retreat to help establish what our upcoming goals were, but just from the standpoint of reiterating what our goals were this past year, the first one was to strengthen community engagement through increased transparency, consistency of communication, utilizing various platforms to foster dialogue and involvement. I think we've done a pretty good job this year from the standpoint that holding the town hall in regards to the policy development, the utilization of many stakeholders, not only in the development of that, but other things, safety. We did the EV bus participation thing, which was really, really well received. I think probably had more people there than we had in the last 3 years of board meetings. We also had not only that, but we've had safety meetings, other community events. So it's trying to engage the community in a multitude of different ways, not only just through surveys, but to try and actively get some participation and some feedback. And I know we had 2 individuals last night at the policy thing, which was nice to hear. They were able to add their input. So the goals only work if we get the feedback, and have that dialogue and communication. So that was our goal, our first goal. The second goal was to create a school district environment where every member of the school community feels valued, respected, included, and experiences a sense of belonging. I know this is kind of a feed on off of, when Ms. Kirsten first came on board, the whole idea of One Akron, I think, and is built upon that this past year, and I'm sure that we'll have something going forward in the next year. But I think it's something where that feeling of community has been transformed throughout the district. So the third board goal was to increase a variety and accessibility of elective courses, enrichment programs, CTE, work-based learning opportunities to ensure all students have access to personalized learning paths and support their academic interest and personal growth. We've seen this, reflectively from our goals and observations. We doubled the number of students that received a seal of civic readiness this past graduation. We've also seen that we now have sports statistics as being something that was driven by the students through a survey in the math department in the high school. We've seen a couple of new clubs. I know the AV club has been very active and starting to put out some opportunities for student involvement, both literary, photography. So there's those. There's a couple of other things. I know the cooking class is going to be coming up this year as well. So if anything here, it's something that I know we're not going to get everything in one shot, and I don't think that that's the course of the goal. Sometimes it's to establish goals and then kind of work your way forward. But this is the sort of thing, especially for the students, if you guys have input, this is the sort of thing. You guys are the end users of this whole vehicle. And if we're not meeting the needs of what you guys and gals, what you are looking for as students, then please let us know, because this is where we can start to make some of those changes. So we're really looking for your input along those lines. Are there any other questions? So as we go into the retreat, please keep in mind the 3 goals that we currently have. We'll try and establish additional goals moving forward, or variations thereof these goals. But essentially, if we can come up with before the first of the year, or first of the school year, we want to establish our goals for the upcoming year, so we can give some directive to the superintendent, who can then figure out an implementation and then work it down the line. So then, that kind of leads right into the final item that I had for board discussion. Student officers, this is your time. So I know Miss Kirsten has probably had a conversation with you, but I wanted to just give each one of you the floor to give the board and the community a general understanding of who you are, why you're interested, what are, kind of just give you the floor. Everybody here ran through a process of explaining who they were and what they were interested in when they ran for the board. You guys have been there. What have you thought about the process? Why are you interested? What do you hope to get out of this? What do you hope to feed back in? So the floor is yours.
No pressure.
I'll just start it off. As for my involvement in who I am and stuff, I'm the captain of the swim team. I'm vice president of student council. I've been active government member for quite a few years. I'm really involved in music. I'm a percussionist. Captain of jazz band, required or not, I'm there. As for why, a bunch of reasons. Obviously, serving the community has always been a huge thing for me, no matter where I am, whether that's in a team or whether that's my town, and my students and my peers. I think that this is a really good opportunity and a great motion by the state to have students here, because student input is so important and it's often lacked, I feel like. So I think that this is a good opportunity for us to get our voices, and especially in something like the cell phone policy. It affects us the most, but it's the adults making the decisions. So it's kind of nice to be able to have a say. And then long term, I want to be a lawyer, so I think that seeing the process and being involved in the process is a good thing for me in the long run.
I'm Austin, and I am the secretary of student council. I am a member at large of student government. I do musical, I do cheer,
Superintendent's advisory.
Superintendent's Advisory Club, DEIB, Student Focus Group, Color Guard, Chorus, a lot, 11 and counting. And I did this to bring voices to the people that necessarily had them, but they're not being projected to the people that are making the decisions, you guys. And I plan to take this into my future, helping communities around the world.
So my name is Alexander Parisi. I also have an extensive resume as my fellow colleagues here. But The reason why I wanted to join the board is because in my future, I would like to pursue American politics by attending West Point, and I saw this as a good stepping stone for my career. As they've also said, bringing a voice to the students of Akron Central School would just benefit the community in general, and I think it would be a nice change of pace for the adults here.
We are super excited to have you. Just hearing you share your future goals and the things that you're involved with. I know that you are super busy, but we appreciate the commitment to serving your community on the school board. We've had some initial conversations on how some of the ways that you can and will contribute, and that will include giving a monthly report to the board. We've identified different areas that you will help support student voice in. So we have an elementary liaison, we have a middle school liaison, and a high school liaison to share those voices with the board. So we're very excited to have you, and just hearing you speak, parents, I know you are probably beaming with pride. We're truly remarkable students, and we're very lucky to have you.
Yeah, so for, and I will just kind of share that along the same lines is, I think it's always been important, and I know when we went through, and I think there was an initial way in which board members, the student board members were going to be picked, and we kind of changed the whole dynamic, and part of that was because of student voice. Trying to make sure that the students were representative across the board, that it wasn't just one particular thing, whether it be, academics, but this way we had academics, we have athletics, we have music, we have a musical, we have chorus, you guys ran through a whole litany of things that go on here, and I will say with 2 students that have graduated from Akron, I think it's one of the things that I'm most appreciative of is the fact that when students leave here, they're so well-rounded and had a wealth of opportunity, because sometimes you'll hear from other kids that they just did band, or they just did athletics, or they just did this, whereas you are representative of kind of the district in a nutshell, that you've done everything and do everything, and you try and do more outside the community, and that's a great reflection, I think, of this district, and you guys are great representatives, to, first off, the willingness to step forward. You had to fill out an application, so that means I'm willing to come and do this. So hopefully you bring that voice and that passion that, got you to this table, and you find your voice equally and moving forward. So we're really interested to see what you have to offer, and it's an open dialogue. You are equals amongst the rest of us here, so that's the biggest thing to know. And likewise, in this period of board discussion, between 2 new board members and then having 3 new board members from the students' representatives, what we will go through to do, and just for a general understanding for the community, typically the week before a board meeting, Ms. Kirsten, myself, we'll sit down with Ms. James and Mr. Kowalski, and we will go through and set the agenda. At that point in time, or just previous to those meetings, I will reach out to the board members, and now I will reach out to the students as well, and ask for any sort of input. So if there is something that, as a board member, if somebody within the community has asked a question or has a concern, you can bring it to my attention and to the superintendent's attention. We can kind of address it. And if we feel that it's something that needs to move forward, either one, we can find the information and get a little bit more of a frame of reference and context, and then bring that forward into the discussion so that everybody's on the same page and everybody is having that dialogue. And there's an air of transparency amongst not only us, but the rest of the community. And likewise, that will be the opportunity for the students as well. So if there's things that you hear from other students, there's issues, concerns, those can be addressed both at the administrative level or the school level, building level, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. The building level, which you guys are each going to be representative liaisons of, but again, you can bring those concerns forward, and if it's something that is significant, like I said earlier in the meeting, the cell phone policy. We could get halfway into September and decide that, this isn't working, or we need to do something different. And those sorts of things can be addressed and brought up, and then the dialogue made and action taken from there. So Likewise, we're looking for, this only works if we all have that dialogue and that communication. So that's the vehicle in which to kind of do this. So I encourage those activities. And that goes for the community. If you have a concern, issue, please bring it forward to myself, Ms. Kirsten, or any board member, and those can be addressed. With that, are there any other topics or concerns for board discussion? Okay. With that then, agenda item 21 is executive session. I do not have any reason to go into executive session at this time. So therefore, agenda item 22, before somebody changes their mind, then into agenda item.
I got one. No, I'm kidding.
Agenda item 22, which is adjournment, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Kenline, seconded by Ms. Kafka.
There's always a race for that one.
I'll be summer vacation.
I won't ask for any discussion on that one. With that, the motion passes. We are adjourned at 8:02. I want to thank everybody for their attendance. I welcome all of our new members, both students and board members, and appreciate everybody in attendance, both online or in person. And as always, any questions, concerns, comments, please bring them to our attention so that they can be properly addressed.